Okay, everyone, thank you for making it through the rain. I appreciate sudden downpour, but you still made it. So we're really fortunate. We have Cade from the Office of Undergraduate Research, and then we have a couple of students that we've worked with who are transfer students to the U to talk about their research. And I think this is great. A lot of transfer students that I've worked with that we hear from are interested in undergraduate research. This was a very intentional time to do it because we're a month from the deadline. The Halloween is the deadline for the undergraduate research opportunities program, which you can get paid to do research. And I'm gonna stop talking and I'll let Cade go from here. So
yeah, how's it going, guys? I'm Cade. I'm the outreach coordinator for the Office of Undergraduate Research. So I talk to a lot of students. I do a lot of presentations like this. Most of all, I help you guys get involved in research. So how many of you guys have thought about doing research or have plans to do research here at the U? Two? Most? Okay, cool. Sounds good. Well, today I'm going to kind of talk about like some opportunities that we have, how to get involved, how to get in touch with us, stuff like that. And then I'll also talk about ways to get paid to do research as well, as Paul kind of mentioned. But yeah, we do have a lot of those opportunities. This is the land acknowledgement. I'm sure you guys have seen this quite a few times, but just in case, we acknowledge that this land is named for the Ute tribe, is the traditional and ancestral homeland of the Shoshone, Paiute, Goshu, and Ute tribes. The University of Utah recognizes and respects the enduring relationship that exists between many indigenous peoples and their traditional homelands. We respect the sovereign relationship between tribes, states, and the federal government, and we affirm the University of Utah's commitment to a partnership with Native nations and urban Indian communities through research, education, and community operation activities. This is the agenda for today. I kind of just went over it, so we'll go ahead and move forward. But yeah, starting with the overview of our office. Our mission is to promote undergraduate, student, faculty, collaborative research, and creative works in all disciplines throughout the University of Utah campus. The emphasis there is student, faculty, collaborative works, so I'll talk a little bit about that coming up. This is our team. All of these are our staff members. We are all full-time, and then we have our undergraduate leaders as well, who are undergraduate students that work with our office. So they are still currently students at the U who have already gone through our programs or are currently involved in our programs as well. I'll kind of tell you guys how to communicate with us in a bit, but you are welcome to talk to any of these people during their research advising hours, especially those students if you want to like really get an idea of like the experience, how to get involved like as a student, what it's really like in terms of like the day-to-day for a student undergraduate researcher. Moving forward, undergraduate students or undergraduate research matters for students. It can promote skill building, promotes retention and graduation. It also impacts career and postgraduate decisions. The retention and graduation thing is a big point for us. We do find that students who are involved in research during their time undergrad tend to graduate within that 4 to 6 year gap as opposed to like the 5 to 7 year gap, which is a really good thing these days. It's not as common as it used to be to graduate in that 4 to 5 year range. Research builds community. It's a great opportunity to meet new people and build your professional network by joining a research team or project. You can experience professional development through publishing, presenting, and doing research. More details on that to come in a minute. And there's also several networking opportunities through our office and our events that we host throughout the year. These are kind of the 5 pillars that our office operates on. The first one is faculty and student collaborations, then outreach and education, grants and awards, research advising, and recognition. These are all for you guys. You guys can, have stuff to do with all of these throughout your time doing undergraduate research. And I'll explain all those pillars as well. Academics and research. Undergraduate research can happen in a variety of ways. This can look like courses or independent study classes that are focused on research. I'm sure some of you have already gotten involved in some of those classes. It can look like internships, paid research opportunities through our office. Volunteer research, of course, if you guys don't really care about getting paid, you're always welcome to do research under that volunteer umbrella. And student publishing and presenting their research as well. Really quickly, this is our undergraduate research scholar designation. Essentially, this is how you can earn credit to do research, and then also get your research to show up on your transcripts. But essentially, in order to get that designation, you would have to participate in at least 2 semesters of undergraduate research, which kind of goes along with our UROP program, which I'll explain a little bit more about. You have to have presented at an OUR undergraduate research symposium, and you have to have submitted to Range, which is our undergraduate research journal. You'll probably end up doing all those things anyways if you're getting involved in undergraduate research, especially if you're involved with our office. So just kind of something to like keep in mind there. And you also get a cord at graduation, which is kind of cool. It's like a sweet perk. Yeah.
Internships fall in this campus?
It depends on funding scenarios, if that makes sense. But it definitely would. Like if you're doing 2 semesters of undergraduate research at the U. So if you have like an internship with an outside program that like involved with the university, unfortunately that would not count. But yeah, it would have to be research at the U. Any other questions about the scholar designation before we move on? Cool. Cool, now we're moving on to the fun part, funding opportunities. This is how you guys get money to do research. The first thing I'll talk about, well, this is our homepage here. I don't know if you guys have visited our website at all, but this is our homepage. These 4 tabs here on the bottom is kind of where you'll live. In terms of finding funding, this tab right here, obviously the OUR funding page is definitely going to be a spot for you guys to check out. The first opportunity I'll talk about, which, how many of you guys transferred to the U this year? Probably most of you. Cool. So this is a $250 scholarship opportunity to learn about research opportunities. You can also connect with mentors through our Early Exploration Scholars program. This is for students within their first 60 credits at the U. So even if you have credits from your previous university, let's say you have like 85 credits there, we don't really care that much, as long as you're within your first 60 credits at the U. So if you guys all transferred here this year, you should be in there unless you're some super high overachievers. The deadline for, it's out of date, but you could apply for this for next semester. Essentially, we offer, okay, just a second. Essentially, through this program, we offer like opportunities, stuff like that, but we also do research tours through this program, which is actually open to the public as well. But basically we like go into labs and the PIs will like give us a tour of their lab and like show them or show you guys students like what they're working on, like how they do their work, like they literally just give you like a full tour of the lab. It's really, really cool. In case you're curious, there is a research tour tomorrow at the School of Health. So a lot of cool stuff over there. If any of you guys are in that like pre-med track or interested in that, medical field. But we can move on from that. Undergraduate research opportunity program. This is that UROP that we were just talking about a second ago, how you guys get paid to do research. UROP provides undergraduate students and mentors the opportunity to work together on research or creative projects. UROP awardees are hired as temporary employees by the Office of Undergraduate Research and are paid $1,200 for 120 hours of research during the whole semester that you're involved. Kind of calling back to that research scholar designation program. You can be involved in UROP for up to 2 semesters during your time in undergrad. So you can get paid $1,200 a total of twice for that. And this literally is $1,200 directly in your pocket. It's not designated towards any specific cost. It's not a scholarship, nothing like that. So if you're looking to get involved in research, but maybe you also need like a part-time job, boom, combine it right there. And 120 hours of research sounds like a lot, but over the course of that entire semester, it's really only like 5 to 10 hours a week. So not a humongous commitment outside of class to make sure you're getting paid there. You can apply for UROP any semester and be eligible for a 1-semester renewal. So that's what I was saying a second ago with the 2-semester thing. And the deadline to apply for that is October 31st. So that's why we're having the workshop today, is to get that on your radar. So hopefully we can work through that and get you guys applied. Yes. So it depends on the semester. We can't fund everybody, if that makes sense, but we do try and fund as many students as possible. last year we funded, like a couple hundred students, I believe, so like we're trying to pass out as much money as we possibly can for that, yeah.
Will you be mentioning spring or?
Yep.
Oh, yeah,
Yep.
I'll wait then.
Yep.
Yeah, to know like what exactly you wanna do, or can you just kind of apply, figure it out?
That's a good question. So for Europe in particular, you do already have to have a faculty mentor and a project that you're working on. Because the application process for that looks like essentially it's a research proposal. So you and your mentor will kind of work together, you end up writing it's a 4 to 6 page paper. Essentially outlining all of your research, and we do have websites, or we have resources for this on our website. In terms of like how to apply. So we have like videos that'll show you like exactly what we're looking for. We've also got a whole tab on how to apply. Literally outlines everything that you should be putting in your essay and everything you should not be putting in your essay. So the resources there to like know what you're supposed to be doing. But yeah, you essentially just write a research proposal, which if you guys are getting involved in research like now or in the future, whenever, you're gonna have to write those anyways. So it's always good practice. But you do have to be involved in a lab first, in order to apply.
Also, the early exploration scholarship, when can somebody like get information on that? Because I applied, but it was open and I haven't heard anything back or anything.
Definitely. See me after the presentation and I'll get you in contact with Sarah, who's the one that runs our early exploration scholars program. Yeah.
And adding on to that, could you get that and do this, or do they have to be separate?
So, I don't know if you could get both because they don't normally overlap. But early exploration scholars is a lot more for students who are like curious about getting involved in research, but not exactly sure like where they want to get involved. So that's kind of the opportunity just to like see what's out there, like, meet some faculty members that are involved with our office. But that's a good question. I don't know if you could double up on that. Does anybody else have any questions about your out? Yeah.
For this one, so the time frame that you have to do it or apply within that, in terms of your transfer here?
Just as long as you're a student at the U. Yeah, so like you guys are all set to apply, you're already started classes and stuff like that, so you should be totally good to apply. And if you guys want, I can talk later, like if you wanna meet with me one-on-one or anything like that, kind of talk about like how to get into the lab. And I'll mention it a little bit here, but I can get more in depth through a research advising appointment. But yeah, is there any other questions on your app? Cause I know it's, yeah.
So if someone's not maybe quite ready for your op, would you recommend they start with the early exploration scholars?
So that depends. If you know where you want to get into research, I wouldn't worry too much about early exploration scholars. I would worry more about getting into the lab that you're looking to get into. Again, early exploration is literally just like get like a broad sense of what's going on like around campus. That being said, just because this is open for like next semester, doesn't mean you can't get involved in a lab like right now. You know what I mean? Like you guys could be in a lab by next week if you wanted to. And then I'll talk about other funding opportunities that you could have available to you within the next month, right? So in terms of getting that paycheck, that would be for next semester. But in terms of like research funding, you shouldn't have to spend any money out of pocket for like equipment and stuff like that. So I think it's either next or the slide after that, but I'll explain that in just a second. This is SPUR. This is what you were just mentioning a second ago. Our summer program for undergraduate research. It is a nationally competitive summer opportunity. You get to work with award-winning faculty. This is more of a full-time gig, but again, it's over the summer. So if you guys are involved with this, maybe you're not involved in classes as well. It is higher pay. It's about $5,000. It is $5,000. It's not about $5,000. It's $5,000, 35 to 40 hours a week. It is a 10-week program over the course of the summer. And the deadline to apply for that is late January. So basically how this one works is our faculty members will apply to our office to be for their project to be admitted into the SPUR program. And then once that's all selected and all that, you guys as students can go in and see like what projects are happening through the SPUR program this summer, see what you want to get involved in, and then you apply to I think your top 3. And then the faculty members will go through and select what students they would like to, get involved in their project. Over the summer, so it is a more competitive opportunity. And by nationally competitive, it is open to students all across the United States. So last year we had students from the U, we had students from like, University of Virginia, literally everywhere in between. So it's definitely worth applying. It is a great opportunity. But again, just keep in mind, it is a little bit competitive, so, yeah.
So for this one, you don't need to be in contact with the professor before, you just go and apply for a program you want.
Yeah, so, I'll talk about our research opportunity database in a second, because that kind of functions similarly. But this program is like specifically for like the projects that we have laid out and selected for that summer program, yeah.
If you're already in the research group, which is also on this website, so what are the are you up to the resident also you get funding?
Like, would you automatically get into Spur?
I mean, won't automatic, I don't think it's going to automatic, but like how other resident odds.
That really depends on the opportunity. I don't have like a number for you in terms of like acceptance rate, necessarily. But, what I will say is like, if you're interested in opportunities, like apply. There's no reason not to. It really is a fantastic program. It's a great look on your resume. It's a great opportunity to present research and also to publish your research as well. And I will say like the summer projects are like, they're pretty cool. There's a lot of really awesome research happening over the summer.
So let's say I do Europe for the spring semester, would I be able to do this and do Europe the following fall? Is that how it would look like if I were to do that?
Yeah, so the Europe operates on a semester basis, so like once that spring semester is over, so come May, you're no longer like employed by our office. So then you would be eligible for that spur program, and then you could also do Europe like the following semester. So like you don't have to do 2 consecutive semesters of Europe. You could split them up like however you get accepted essentially, but you would have to like reapply at the time you.
And then second
Yeah.
question. So for spur, do you have to be a current student of of the summer semester in order to do it, or could you graduate in spring and then do it the summer and then your time?
That's a good question. I'm not sure if you graduate in spring, that would be the only tricky thing.
Yeah.
But no, in terms of like being a student for the summer semester, it's separate. It's not, you're not taking classes or anything, you're more like an employee on campus, if that makes sense. But yeah, if you graduate, I'm not exactly sure how that would work.
Can you take summer class at the same time?
You can, I would kind of advise against it because like working 35 to 40 hours a week in a lab it's a lot. I mean, you're gonna be there from probably 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. every day or however that works out. But I mean, you definitely can, but it's just, depends on how you want to manage your time in that sense. And did you have a question as well, or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how do you guys kind of assess that, okay, this students is a project for this research?
So we're not actually the ones that are accepting students into these spur projects, it's the faculty members like on a project to project basis. So they, depending on what they're looking for, they would, have their own processes as to who they're hiring.
So you like send out candidates to these PI or faculty members and they can.
Yeah, so when you apply for Spur, you'll put in like all your application information, then you select your top 3 projects that you're most interested in. And then the faculty members from those 3 projects are like notified that you've applied. They'll review your application and then they'll select out of their application pool from there, like who they wanna hire.
So when research issues really matters on.
Are you asking like how do you select what project?
Project issues really matters a lot. So.
It can, yeah, I mean, I would say if you have like previous experience, then that might be like a good way to go. Cause it is obviously more competitive than just getting involved in like a normal lab here on campus. So yeah, I mean, like if you have experience in like, political science and there's a political science lab on there, I would go ahead and apply for that one. But like it really, if there's something that's interesting to you and potentially you've worked on it in the past, potentially not, like I would apply for it. We want to make sure you guys are actually getting into labs that you'll enjoy, like actually get something out of, rather than potentially accidentally getting set up with the wrong lab. Which rarely happens, by the way. Most of the students really grow to love their labs and the research that they're doing. So this is travel and small grants. This is what I was talking about a second ago in terms of finding funding by next month. So obviously the Europe thing isn't like you wouldn't receive that funding until next semester. However, we do have travel and small grants, which is separate funds that are a little bit more dedicated towards like your actual research costs. Students can apply for research grants to help support their work. Applicants must be working with a faculty mentor, so this kind of runs along the same lines as the EUROP application. The only reason for this is because you do have to specify like what you're getting funded for. So you can't just say like, oh, I might be traveling in the next 6 months for some research project that I might be involved in. It would be more like, I'm doing this project, this is what I need to travel for, this is why I need this funding. And essentially we can help fund you for that. So we do have travel grants. It's $500 for just for the travel grant. It can apply to future conference registrations, airfare, lodging, mileage, so like gas if you wanted to or to need to like drive to do research, stuff like that, so that travel isn't hopefully a obstacle for you. Then we also have small grants as well. It's another $500. This is more dedicated towards research supplies, special training fees. So if you need any like special certifications to do whatever research you're involved in, that can help cover that. And then just other research related costs like that. And these are considered on a monthly basis. So let's say you apply today, which actually the deadline is today if you wanted to apply for like next month. But let's say you apply today and you could have that funding by next month, October. Presentation and publication opportunities. So just really quickly before we start here, does anybody have any more questions about funding? Because I know that's kind of a lot of info about money and opportunities there. Cool. So these are our 3 undergraduate research symposiums that we host every year. The first one is our fall symposium. That is virtual only. So the way that works is essentially you would either like film or do like your presentation over like Zoom meeting. Essentially you just record it, you submit it to us, and then we upload it to our fall symposium where people will go through and like review all those projects. It is a great opportunity to present. It's don't let the virtual thing discourage you from doing that, because it is a good opportunity. In terms of if you guys are not involved in research yet, but you're looking into getting into it, the spring symposium would probably be your next opportunity there to potentially present. If you're at that stage in your research, that is all formats. So by that, I mean, it could be a poster presentation, it could be a performance. We've had students literally do dance performances at our fall symposiums. Whatever format you feel is necessary to present your research, that is what happens at the spring symposium. And then our summer symposium is a poster presentation only. This is probably our most common format of presenting. So, that's all we're doing at the summer symposium. But all of these are just good opportunities for you to get in front of people, present your research, tell other people what you're working on and why it's important. We can move on. This is range. So this is another part of that checklist from the research scholar designation. This is open to any undergraduate student who has done research at the U. So even if you're doing research here and you're not involved in our office, like you're not getting funding from us, you're not, maybe we're not even aware that you're doing this research, totally fine. We're not aware of all the research happening on campus, but you can still submit to be published in our range journal. It features a lot of diverse content. It's got a wider visibility of undergraduate research. It is indexed and searchable. It does get thousands of viewers, and it is a requirement for the undergraduate research scholar designation. Next is research on Capitol Hill. This is actually coming up, so if you guys were interested in presenting, probably next year would be the best opportunity for it. However, this is a really awesome opportunity for you guys to present research directly to your state legislators. So it is a competitive selection process to present your resource to the legislature. It's a partnership with Utah State University and U of U Government Relations. You can get tips and information on how to communicate research to representatives. So that's another skill building opportunity for you guys moving forward in your research careers. You do get a tour of Capitol Hill, which is kind of fun. It's always cool up there. It does occur during the legislative cycle period, and the deadline to apply for that is October 1st. It opens tomorrow. You only get like a month to apply, so when you're thinking about that research on Capitol Hill opportunity, it is usually only open for like a month. But it is a really awesome opportunity for our students to get up to Capitol Hill and present their research straight to our government officials. Does anybody have any questions about presentation opportunities, publication opportunities, anything like that? Yeah.
The Capitol Hill one, that one you need to have your own research ready.
Yeah, so yeah, that's usually when you're like pretty much done with your research, if that makes sense. So that's most of the presentation opportunities are like a later in your research process type of thing. But it is just kind of a good thing to like get on your radar, kind of think about as you're working through your research and like how you're gonna present stuff like that. Any other questions on presentation or anything like that? Cool, we can move on. The first resource that I'll point you guys towards here is our undergraduate research education series. This is a humongous database of essentially videos and presentations that we have hosted through our office. These are all virtual, so they happen over Zoom meetings. You can attend them live, or we put them on our website and our YouTube channel as well. If you're not able to make that presentation. There's all kinds of awesome resources on there. This undergraduate student panel, these are all of our undergraduate student leaders that I was talking about earlier, but basically they all got on this Zoom meeting and we kind of hosted a presentation for them to be able to talk about their experience, how they got involved, you know, their biggest road bumps, stuff like that. So that's just a good thing if you're curious on like the actual student experience. But we do have like over 90 videos on here. There's so many opportunities for you guys to get resources on there. Things like this one in the bottom right, you can barely see it, but that's our true crime and research ed series, which is happening on Thursday. Just kind of like a cool presentation that we're hosting if you guys are interested in that. But we have that. We have everything from that to like how to write a lit review, which is something you'll definitely be doing in research, or how to apply for UROP, if you guys are interested in that. Just all stuff like that. Just so many resources that you guys would use in your research processes anyways. The next one is peer mentor and staff support. The first thing I'll talk about is Funding Fridays, which Paul will probably talk a little bit about as well, and then I also have flyers up here for you guys. But Funding Fridays is drop-in hours for you guys to get support on applications, funding, or just like general questions, like if you're just curious about like what's going on. You can just drop into that. We've also got IRB Lab. If you guys are doing research with human subjects in any shape or form, you're gonna have to go through IRB, which can be kind of a tricky, tedious process. So you guys could work with Megan, who is our like IRB expert. She's the best. She like meets with their panel like every couple of weeks, stays super up to date on that. She can kind of just help like walk you through that IRB process, which can be kind of tricky. And then lastly here, we have research advising. Research advising is a time for you guys to schedule an appointment to stop in over Teams, like a video call, and you get a one-on-one meeting with me or any of my coworkers where we can kind of like walk you through our opportunities, walk you through our website, show you some resources that you guys might need and answer any like specific questions that you have. So that's just a great resource for you as well. This is our OUR research opportunity database. I kind of talked about it a second ago, but in terms of finding a lab to get into now, this is a great place to go. So this is literally just a huge list of all of our active research opportunities that are going on campus right now. We do receive these opportunities from the faculty mentors themselves. So just because there's not an opportunity on our website, it doesn't mean that it's not happening. So if you're interested in some sort of like specific research and you're not seeing it on our website, we can point you towards other resources for that as well. But there's hundreds of opportunities on this website. You guys can even filter by college, depending on what your interest is. And hopefully you can find something that's pretty interesting there. It's just a great way to get in like direct contact with those faculty members. Connecting with faculty mentors. This is another one of those red tabs that you guys had seen earlier on the homepage. But in terms of, like I said before, if you're like more interested in something, this is where I would point you next. The OUR faculty mentors, it's pretty much just a list of all of the faculty who has either been involved with our office, is currently involved with our office, or is willing to like be a mentor. So they're all aware of our office, they're all aware of what we're doing. A lot of them are doing research like all the time anyways. So it's literally just a contact list for you guys to go in. You can filter that by college too. And just reach out to any of those people to hopefully get involved in maybe one of their projects that isn't listed on our website, or see if like they have a colleague or someone that they know that's doing research that you guys could get involved in. But yeah, that would be like the next place I would point you guys. Or I don't think I've talked about it yet, but you guys can lead your own research projects as well. That's usually where we'll get you started with that too, because you'll have to have a faculty mentor for that. But yeah, if any of you guys are interested in like starting your own project, you can do that through there as well. Does anybody have any questions about like those couple of resources, or seem pretty straightforward? Cool. So this is how to get in touch. Obviously, the first place I'm going to say point you guys towards is our website. There's a bunch of good resources on there, like I've kind of talked about already. It's incredibly comprehensive and provides information on everything we covered. So we've got like events calendars, which will have like our deadlines, our ed series, all that good stuff. So they got like so much good information there. So if you're interested in that, let's say you like take a look at our website and you're like, this is kind of overwhelming, not really sure where to go. Book a research advising appointment with us and we can help kind of like bump you through it. Because that's literally what we're there for. So in terms of like our hours of operation, if you guys just want to stop into the office and say what's up, like we always welcome that. We are here every day, Monday through Friday, from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. In the Still Center. We have this building. We're just downstairs. There's a staircase like right over there. We're just downstairs, kind of in that back corner of the basement. But feel free to stop by whenever if you guys just want to like say hey, ask questions, you know, anything like that. You can stay up to date with us by joining our mailing list. We do send out a newsletter every 2 weeks. It's got a bunch of good opportunities or a bunch of good information about like deadlines, opportunities associated with our office, like presentation dates, stuff like that. Just an easy way to stay up to date there. Or you can follow us on social media at U of U, OUR on pretty much every platform. Instagram and Facebook is the place that we post the most, but there we post all kinds of like new research opportunities. So whenever people contact our office for us to post their opportunities, we'll post it on Instagram. You can get a quick rundown of that. We'll post like student highlights so you guys can see like what students are actually doing. Just kind of good information like that as well. But yeah, I believe that's it. Does anybody have any questions before I wrap it up? What do you guys feel like you got some good info there? Yeah.
So you mentioned that it's possible to get paid for their undergraduate research. Is it also possible to earn credits instead?
So that would be through basically to get credits for the research, you have to work with your mentor and then also an academic. I can point you towards that resource later on, but basically that would be through your mentor. You wouldn't get like an Office of Undergraduate Research credit, if that makes sense, but you can definitely get credits to do research as well. That was a good question. Does anybody else have anything? Cool. Well, I'm gonna be hanging out in the back there for the rest of the workshop. So if you guys have any other questions or think of anything down the road, feel free to stop by whenever we're done, or just book a research advising appointment. I got some flyers up here if you guys want to take those, but otherwise, hope you guys have a good day. Thanks for letting me talk to you. I know I just rambled for a while, so I'll let you guys go.
Thank you, Cade. So the thought for this was to have Cade to give you like kind of an overview of like how to get involved, what are the funding opportunities. He can answer kind of undergraduate research questions. We're very fortunate to have through CTHS a current student and a recent alumni who's a recent grad student to talk about their experiences. So Dialma, do you want to start since you're a little earlier in the process. And so if you could talk about yourself, the kind of research that you're doing, and then how you got involved in it.
So hi everyone, you've probably seen me before. For those who don't know me, I am Dialma. I'm I'm the student staff here. And currently I'm doing research here at the U, but prior to that, over the summer, I was very lucky to have the opportunity to work with the McNair Scholars Program, which is a nationally funded program for low-income first-gen students to do to get into grad school, but most specifically do research to help them get into grad school. So for that, I started my research just started with like zero because I didn't know what to do over the summer, and I designed a systematic literature review for the topic of virtual reality because that's what I'm interested in, and I'm studying games here, so I'm finding ways to tie that to my major, as well as that led me to opportunities to connect to a faculty mentor here in the games department, and to continue doing that to apply to Europe. And so like I mentioned before, it was like my first time ever doing research. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to like research databases. I didn't know like how to collect like the data or information or even analyze it. And so the McNair Scholar Program really helped me understand those things, learn more about like the IRB process, or learn how to get funding, or like just how grad school is like. And so being connected to grad peers, being connected to people who are familiar with the system. So it was really helpful for me and my peers as well. And so if anyone's interested about the McNair Scholars Program, please let me know so I can send you to the right people to help you get like into the program, because I think it's very beneficial for me to get connected to people who are just like me, as well as like interested in doing research and going into grad school. And also another thing, like I was able to attend a conference, so it was really nice seeing other undergraduate like peers of mine like across the nation like presenting their research, seeing what they're doing now, and also getting feedback from that, as well as like giving them feedback, kind of like working together, a collaborative process. So that was amazing, and like I said, that led me over here to continue doing research here, and so that was my experience. Did I miss anything?
Like, do you feel like it's valuable? Like,
Oh, I definitely think it's valuable. I mean, like I got a stipend over that, so that was really cool. I got to get connected with people who are helping me like find new resources that I would have never thought about. Like they're sending me articles like, oh, I think like since you're doing video games or VR, like I think you're interested in this. I'm like, oh heck yes, like of course I'm interested in it. It's really hard to like do it alone. And so I thought that was valuable. And like I mentioned before, I got connected to a really amazing like faculty mentor who's helping me with like the whole entire process, getting like ready for Europe, as well as like future research endeavors. So like they told me like literally yesterday when I had a meeting with them, they're like, oh, I think someone from like North Carolina like has a lab that might be interested in like getting you into their lab, because they're also doing the same thing you're doing. So that'd be like a paid like experience outside of the U. I get to travel and do those things. So I'm like, this is great. It's connecting me to all these different like resources and opportunities to continue expanding on my knowledge, especially with research, and like getting me like more closer to like what I want to like get into specifically with research. Cause like I want to do my master's, and like from there I might see if I want to get my PhD. So like it's opening up a lot of new avenues for me. And so like I highly recommend doing undergraduate research. Like you get to learn like what you really want to do, especially if you want to do if you want to go to grad school as well. Like for me, that's my pathway. So yeah, I don't know if that's
and then do you want to talk about kind of how you made that initial connection with your
Okay.
faculty mentor?
Alright. So it was in the spring semester. I was still unsure if I wanted to do research in the first place because I didn't know how that would fit into my major or my like interests. But there was TTH just hosted a workshop actually with the McNair Scholars Program. And so there I was able to talk to Carla, and she's the director of like the Westminster McNair Scholars Program, because that's the only one in Utah. And because of that, like I was like, okay, sure, why not? I'll just see if like this applies to me, see if this will work. And what do you know, like I got accepted into the program and I did my research, and I was looking around to see who was interested in like the topic that I chose, which is VR. And so Rogelio's, which is or Dr. Rogelio Cardona Rivera, which is the researcher, the faculty mentor here for me, I was able to get connected with them, and from there, like the connection was that like I was able to like get really valuable advice from them, get really good feedback from them as well to help me like improve upon like the research, get more specific with like my research questions or like the topic that I want to get into. And like from there, they were like, well, if you want to continue doing research, I'm more than happy to help you continue. And so I'm like, oh, of course, like I wouldn't like shoot down this opportunity. And so that's how I was able to get connected to them. Through the McNair Scholars Program. So I found that really valuable to me, and I found like super helpful because like I didn't know how to reach out to a faculty member. I didn't know like what to say or like exactly the whole process of doing that, because like everything was brand new to me. But like I feel like for me, the McNair Scholars Program really helped like ease that with like showing me how to do, or like how to reach out to them. Like this is how you format an email, or like make sure like you have an idea of like what you want to research, like see what they're also researching, see like read like the publications that they've done to see like if this is the person you really want to be mentored under. Yeah, that's what helped me.
Thank you. Any questions for Dialma? And we'll have time at the end for like small group questions, but thank you. Thank you. And then Destiny, we're very privileged to have her here. She was a former vice president of the Crimson Transfer Honor Society and did research and then is in grad school this semester. She did it. So if you want to talk about your journey.
Yeah, for sure. So yes, as Paul mentioned, I had been previously vice president here as well. I had always been interested in doing undergrad research throughout my time here at the U, but unfortunately I felt like I could never really find the time to do that. So my route for research was definitely very different in that unfortunately I didn't really get to do that during my time in undergrad. I'd kind of been fortunate enough to be able to do that as soon as I had graduated and my availability had opened up a little bit. But throughout my time at the U, I'd always been interested in the different types of research going on campus. I've received a lot of emails talking about faculty that had been looking for students and sharing a little bit about what research they were doing. And there was a point in time towards like my last year, I would say, of undergrad where I had taken particular interest to a couple different research studies that I'd seen were going on. And I was lucky enough that I had just happened to get a professor as for a class that I was taking that I had known was doing research that I was interested in. So while I was just taking the class with him, I was like, oh, hey, I remember you said you were doing this research. Are you still doing that? And he was, so I'd asked him if there was any way that I could participate in that. So I guess I would say another method to get involved in research that I think can be really helpful is just to talk to your faculty, the professors that you're taking classes with. And if you're ever curious, a lot of the time on like the department web pages, you can look up your faculty and a lot of them will actually talk about what their research is that they're interested in. They're more than happy to tell you. But you can definitely also just talk to them in person. I find that a lot of professors are really passionate about that work. So if you just go up to them and ask them questions about it, they're more than happy to tell you those types of things. But now some of the cons of the way that I had done it is that you don't get that funding. So I was voluntary research, you know. The pros I would say for that are that I had more time to do it. It wasn't so much of a financial strain. You still get a lot of helpful skills. So like from my research experience, we got to look at, it was infant emotion coding. So we got to look at infants in their natural home environment with their parents and track their facial expressions to see how they expressed emotions and see how that kind of matches up with the way that their parents express emotion. So I got to do a little bit about coding, which was really exciting. And at first glance, I would say research is really beneficial just because there are so many different ways to get experience. But that was always another issue for me with undergrad is that you hear of research and it just sounds like this overwhelming, really intimidating thing. And through a long portion of my time in undergrad, I worried that I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know if I have the skills necessary to do research, but you'll find that faculty, staff, I'm sure the Office of Undergrad Research as well, are more than happy to help give you the skills you need to do that research. So I want to reiterate, I guess, that you're not jumping into research being expected to know exactly what you're doing. They're there to help teach you these things. So don't be intimidated by not having the skills necessary to do that. But it definitely helps to, especially if you're interested in grad school, it definitely helps to have those skills. Because then that brings a little bit of extra interest for your application. I guess I would like to ask really quick, how many students are by chance interested in going into grad school? There isn't. Okay, perfect. So ironically enough, my grad program actually does not require research, but a crucial thing to keep in mind is a lot of the time, faculty in those programs are still pursuing research. So even though it's not a requirement, it'll make you stand out as an applicant when you're going into grad school. So even if you don't plan on pursuing research in the future, it's still beneficial to help you get into grad school. Plus, having those skills also comes in handy for being able to be a competent consumer of research. Because regardless of whether or not you're going to be necessarily creating research in the future, in grad school, they want you to be capable of understanding the research and maintaining the ability to read it, process it, utilize it, know that the research that you're consuming is actually effective research. So it's common in grad school to still have to take the dreaded stats classes and all that good stuff. But I think having those research skills really helps you kind of have a better understanding of those classes and the material that you'll be learning in grad school. So, yeah.
Do you wanna say any more about like your grad program? I know this is your first semester, but.
Yes, so I'm still learning a lot about it. But I really like the grad program so far. It's very different. Where you get a lot more one-on-one interaction with your faculty, so they'll know you really well. The students in your classes are also going to know you really well because you'll have a lot of the same classes with these students, and it's a lot smaller. So like my class, for example, has 12 students. We're in the clinical mental health counseling master's program. The doctorate for that only has 4 students, so it's even smaller. So you get to kind of know your students really well as well. And oh, one thing I would like to add as well, I guess I should say, another potential pro with getting involved in research is that it gives you the opportunity to go explore by going out to conferences. The research that I was doing, even though I had done it without funding, had gotten accepted into a conference in San Francisco, California. So that was a good opportunity to get to travel to California. Unfortunately, I actually had to finish up my time with them before they made it to the conference, so I got to miss out on that. But being able to have those presentation skills also comes very handy in grad school. I can't speak for every program, but I know for mine, presentations are really critical, like having the skills to do that and working in group projects. I actually have a group project for a statistics class later today where I will be presenting on research, so definitely still comes in handy, would definitely recommend it. But yeah, that's it. Any